welcome back because you missed us. This is the To Be Named podcast, a joint production between the Super Bonato brothers and Inertia Global. I'm Jason. That's the ghost named Greg Bonato Jr.
That had a mean beat to it, too. I felt it.
And together, now we have to rock. And together, we talk video games, pro wrestling, and other such pops for life. This is episode 9.
Niner.
Could have been episode 10. I had to take a week off last week for some personal issues. Today is August 6th. You should be hearing it on the 7th, maybe Saturday. On the 8th, but it's good to note the date right now because of some of the things I'm going to be talking about. This week we have I have a ton of news from the gaming world, and not just news, some cool things too that I've dug up, which may or may not be new news or not, but just some things I think that our audience would like to talk about. And then I have some crazy all over the world news with pro wrestling and a little bit of PVGA. Greg,
that's what I want to hear.
What do you got before we can begin?
What do I have?
And so help me if you say Grand Theft Auto and Dr. Pepper.
You know what?
Streets of Rage 2.
I took a little. You know, I love me some Streets of Rage 2. No, not a whole lot. I played. Last week was my vacation from work, and we also took a break off all the podcasts for the week, which was kind of needed. I feel like it was a good needed rest. With that being said, I did spend my entire vacation in Los Santos. I didn't see my parents till I think Saturday. I walked down there and I was like, look, this is a problem. I'd literally been in Los Santos since like last Saturday. So I was like, I spent like almost most of the day with my family on Saturday. So I spent my entire week in Los Santos. I made about $1 million in car sales.
Boy, I tell you what. Well, Greg, since you can't, I will tell everybody that they need to put their headphones on to maximize that Too Sweet 3D Tech Audio TM. Very important. You know what I mean? Some sponsors like to make sure that we say their stuff clearly. Let's get off to the races. Shall you or shall I?
You shall, because all I'm really going to I want to talk a little bit about last week and how awesome of a show AEW was. But, I mean, I was just going to talk about, like, the landscape of the tag team wrestling as today. Also, next week is Tag Team Appreciation Day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I mean, I was actually going to spend most of my time just talking about tag team wrestling today. I have nothing else to talk about but tag team wrestling.
All right, we're going to go through some of this video game stuff I have. First things first, if you're me, my friend Adam, my friend Big James, the Pastry King, the Avengers Beta, if you pre-ordered on PSN, it is available tomorrow. You can preload today. That's for those of us that pre-ordered. I'm going to be delving into that all day tomorrow. I'll have footage and answers on JT Swin Gaming, which will probably be overhauled under a new name soon. But I'll have a lot of stuff up geared towards me and my friends and the questions we have, because we're hoping for a more of a third-person Ultimate Alliance game that with great graphics and great set pieces.
The one interesting thing about that as well, too, is they're going to be implementing Spider-Man 2.
He will be released as DLC after Hawkeye. Hawkeye's
really?
The first Hawkeye's the first DLC, and then Spider-Man after him.
Do they have a complete DLC list yet, or is it just
that's it? But they said it's going to have a 2-year plan of released missions through the multiplayer component, which I'll have a lot of answers on tomorrow. Now, if you miss it, if you pre-ordered and you missed it, it's running on August 7th, which is Friday. So those of you that's probably listening to this on Saturday, just be aware that it runs till Sunday, August 9th, and that's the closed beta. But next week, the 14th through the 16th, next weekend, you can catch it again, and it's going to be an open beta for everybody. to jump in and play it so that everybody can kind of have their thoughts on it as well. I just wanted to remind everybody. But if you don't have time, pop on into JT Swin Gaming. I'll be there. I'm not going to stream anything because I don't believe the streaming world wants to see a 40-year-old hibbity bobbity like me streaming, but I will cut a lot of clips up and have a lot of me dissecting them with some videos and explaining, my thoughts on it. So to close that out, anything, Greg, before we move on to the next thing?
Well, I want to say that now that you told me it's going to be an open beta, I'm actually a little interested. Because if you remember me talking about the Avengers game before, I said I was really on the fence, more leaning towards not buying it. And then, you guys kind of you pulled me in a little bit. A lot of what I've seen from the gameplay trailers is pretty interesting. This could be a game that I think potentially could take off.
Yeah, and I'm implementing about that support. And I think the things that people are finding that they don't like about the game is shit I like. Basically, you're going to go through the story and play as everybody, so you got to get good with every character.
Exactly.
And then later on in the ongoing content, that's multiplayer with your friends, so then you have a chance to really have a main character. And they said it's just a little, since the beta, it doesn't do the campaign in linear order. It kind of picks and plucks some missions like the Destiny beta did.
Okay.
So they said at some points you have to grind Iron Man, so he's kind of powerful to do the next story mission. But I like grinding and side shit, and who doesn't? So I do too. I just don't understand critics, because you either like if a game's too linear, or now we're saying it's too open. I mean, suck my ass. These guys that go get these journalism degrees and just want to call video games and they say these big fucking words and I just suck my ass.
I think it's really neat, the idea of PlayStation bringing on Spider-Man. I don't care for the idea of having just exclusive for certain consoles. I get why they did it with Spider-Man.
Because Sony owns the movie rights.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But I'm curious to who the Xbox, if they give Xbox an exclusive character, who will be, or if they decide to give them one at all. Because realistically, it's Xbox. Are you really going to give them anything?
Listen, I'm getting an Xbox for Fable. That's it. And I'm going to immediately. That's it.
That made it more interesting for me.
Moving on to Star Wars Squadron news. I posted on JT Swin Gaming again. A top 50 questions by a guy I follow on YouTube. I think the questions from his fans really opened my eyes to really what this game is. It's definitely more of a sim, so there is power management. So I was even hoping for that. You can use your flight sticks, and it's VR compatible. So I'm super excited. If you have any more questions, I think I tagged Adam, James, and Austin in that one. That's going to be our 4 players that I'm going to be playing with. Not sure if Josh is going to get it yet. But anyway, that's the top 50. I have that. So if you guys want any more information on that, JT Swin Gaming has it. Greg, you have how much interest? Now, they're saying this could have esports to it. They said it's balanced, real balanced.
I would probably watch it, but I have no interest in it. I'm not really into Star Wars. I mean, I like Star Wars, but I'm not
to announce that this will be the last podcast we'll be doing forever.
Wow.
And then I got to go. I mean, don't tell me you watch Star Trek.
No, Star Trek I completely didn't watch. At least Star Wars had cool villains. Star Trek was just was too out there.
Yeah. Comment below. Comment below if you like what Greg says about that.
You like Jar Jar Binks down below? Let me know.
I also wanted to bring up this next. This came in for me this week. I ordered the physical. I held out, remember? Got Streets of Rage 4 in.
That thing looks so good.
Came with a lovely keychain.
What?
A little, yeah, boy, who's jealous? Who's jealous?
Bro, if I don't get a fucking keychain, I'm literally calling Limited Games and I'm telling them let's throw hands.
So
I will call them right now and be like, hey, bro, yeah, I didn't get a keychain, and I feel as if you better be ready to fight because I'm about to get a Streets of Rage 5 on your bitch ass outside.
So here's what the champ's gonna do for you, Greg. He'll have a little surprise for you when we get to the PVGA stuff today. But anyway, I love this. Me and my brother-in-law put about 4 hours of co-op into it yesterday.
I'm glad you got into it, though, for real.
Had a blast. Haven't beat it yet through story mode, but we are getting close. And, boy, it's good. And I tell you what, if anybody thinks we're taking the disadvantages, No, he wants to take all the and have 8 extra lives. No. I'll grind a board for about 3 times. I think on the 3rd time I find my sweet spot and we're beating it. So I'm going to put some scores up, and let's see who else can put their scores up as well.
Dude, I'm
Sega Gregory.
I'm still waiting for mine to come in from limited run games.
Oh, you're getting one?
Well,
then I'm not going to give you my keychain then.
No. Keep your keychain.
Okay, well, I was going to give you my keychain and the booklet. I don't care about those trinkets.
No,
I know you love them.
Though. I do love them.
I mean, didn't I give you my Fire Emblem trinkets? My pin set for my Fire Emblem?
No, I had 2 sets of them.
Yeah, well, I wonder where one came from, you son of a... And then, listen, they didn't have any for me, so that's mine. Okay.
That's true.
So I do thanks for recommending it. Anybody that likes an old school beat them up. I was surprised how much I missed a bygone era, and I swear we're almost in the end, and I'm still learning new moves to pull off. That's how much I'm loving that game.
I ordered 2 copies of Streets of Rage 4 on April 14th. I'm still waiting for them to get here.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, best of luck. Limited run's a little slow because they're gonna have some of those really nice boxes with it that have the Sega case.
That's what I got. I got the Sega Genesis case.
Their stuff always takes a little longer. This was an Amazon one, so it came on the day. I want to talk about Paper Mario. I'm ready to. I played enough of it that I'm going to discuss it also on JT Swing Gaming again. My nephew will be doing his own. My nephew's 5. He'll be doing his own review of the game. I don't know how soon that's going to be. It could be a year from now, but he's going to eventually do it. But I'll say this much. I don't know what kind of market research told Nintendo that people don't like RPG mechanics and so start getting rid of them. It really hurts the game that there's no experience points or leveling up because then at the end, battles just kind of become a nuisance. And I think that shit started with Sticker Star or whatever. And listen, it's not the sequel to 1,000-year-old door that everybody wanted from the GameCube. But is it charming? Is there a lot of set pieces? Yes. Personally, I say it would sit in about a 7 or 8 range for me. It's not a masterpiece in RPG, but it's a fun little adventure. If you love Mario, no sense not going through it. Wait for a sale, but it's a Switch game, so good luck with that. I
mean, I don't want to plug Walmart, but they do sell their games $10 cheaper than anybody else that I know. Guaranteed. Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, that's what I wanted to get
Target at for $49.
I got it for $38.99.
Another thing I wanted to talk about because I'm a huge Breath of the Wild fan, and I'm actually thinking about after Ghost of Tsushima, I'm going to start on my down relaxing days to go through Breath of the Wild again. Not on hard mode, but just an easy mode. Go through all the DLC and just explore that world again and make my definitive save game for it.
That's a game I need to buy back.
I love it. I love that game so much. I have a copy, and then I also bought a sealed copy of it too because I just believe that game is going to be a masterpiece one day. But here's a little known fact about the game, and I thought this was very interesting. That there's a hidden experience point system. And if you didn't know that, there's Reddit articles on it, and there's a bunch of YouTube. There's a bunch of YouTube videos on it as well. And I have a chart which I'm going to again post on. Greg, can you guess where I'm going to post it?
I'm going to say it's JT Swim Gaming.
Right. Well, I couldn't post it on Ghost Named Greg Gaming because there ain't one. I wish there was one.
There is one, but it's not. I have Twitch. I like my Twitch page.
I can't post them on your Twitch page.
I just can't post on my Twitch page. That's the only thing.
Anyway, I have an XP chart that I'm going to put up because I'm going to kind of use it. And how it works is not like straight up an experience point system. There are a lot of quirks and asterisks behind a lot of it. But it is cool how when the game decides to give you better tier weapons and better and harder monsters, and there is levels of how that works. So I found that very interesting. Other than that, Greg, I have talking about some game giveaway. No one even asked about the game contest last episode. So if no one listened to it and no one did what we wanted to and called us out on it, I guess we'll just let that ride until someone listens to episode 8 and figures out how to get that damn Desperados 3 game from us. Right?
I agree. That was kind of blown away that we were giving away a game, man. You know, it's insane. We crushed the likes. We can't get no comments.
Well, what's motivating is, when you hear somebody like Chad say, "Hey, man, where's the podcast been? I need it." And I like that, because
That was very motivating.
It's fucking tough spending the hours that we do of prep and then fucking 7 people watch it. I'd rather take the video, take it out in the street, and smash it with a sledgehammer so no one ever sees it ever again, Greg. You know what I mean?
I agree. How do you think? That's how exactly I felt.
Anyway, let's move on to some wrestling news. I know you want to talk about the tag teams, and it is tag team extravaganza next week. First thing I want to talk about is a famous tag team partner who was not as famous as his other partner went on to be. Now, can you guess who I'm talking about?
All right. Now, I thought about this. Did he happen to get his head thrown through a barbershop window?
Yes, ding, ding, ding.
And his name is Marty Jannetty.
Fucking insane Jannetty. Maybe. Right? So out of the blue the other day, Marty tweets that a story, and I guess the assumed story is Marty's out of his mind, fighting with his girlfriend, on a bunch of drugs and just getting low, as they say, and putting it all out there. And he says the first time. Now, was it the first, or he admits to murder? Basically, he was back in the 70s, right?
This is insane to think about.
Back in the 70s, Marty's at a bar, and Marty's a young dude who I don't know whether it was the pro biz yet. I know he was in the 80s as the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express and all that with Shawnee Cakes. But Marty was going to buy some weed off this dude behind this real hick bar, redneck bar. And supposedly when he gets back out there, this was a bigger dude. I guess the dude was some kind of gay rapist and tried to sexually attack Marty. Marty defends himself. Marty's big dude, and I mean, if you're gonna be pro, you're probably training those. You know what I mean? Those boys down south. So Marty said, I killed this guy and hid his fucking body. And if you want to find his body, here's where you'll find it. Here's why the case went unsolved, because you didn't look here. Speechless, right?
I was reading this and I was like, I know Marty Jannetty. I like Marty Jannetty. And that to me was like, what the fuck is going on in the world?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't think much about Marty Jannetty. I haven't thought much about Marty Jannetty since he flew through that glass. Every now and then he sneaks up, and I always go, "Hey, Marty Jannetty, I don't mind the guy. He's okay." Marty
Continental champion,
hey, Marty Jannetty's here. His name's fun to say, Marty Jannetty. Sure. You know what I mean? But I mean, allegedly may have murdered a gay rapist in the 70s behind a bar while scoring some dirt South swag weed.
That's 70s swag weed.
Marty, if you need a hookup, by all means. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just don't come at me with any weapons or try to kill me.
Listen, don't try to kiss Marty when you sell him motherfucker weed, because he'll kill you and hide the body. That's the lesson. I'm not here to say that happened or not, but all I'm saying is that is in the realm of possibility. Allegedly, he's saying it. So what we know, if we're going to say this man is telling the truth right now, here's a fact. He's saying clearly a message. Don't try to touch his wiener when you're selling him weed. It's a clear fucking message.
I mean, I don't know about you. I don't want, when I'm buying weed, the last thing I want someone to do is be touching my wiener or my butthole. Lay off the wiener and the butthole.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't take a weed guy that's just going to show up here, Greg, here's your dime bag, because I know you just don't buy dime bags, and then be like, can I finger your butt? While I'm here, you're going to say no? Look right here, look our audience in the eyes right now and say you're going to say no to that.
I'm going to say no to that because I want at least a half ounce. And then I'll think about it, but I'm probably going to tell you no.
You probably pay $30 for that half ounce, too, because it's pine cone shit.
Look at that 70s ragweed Marty Jannetty was getting behind the back of the alley.
Right now, I was like, God, son of a bitches. Oh man, you know what I
so
mean?
true.
I mean, what are you gonna do? But anyway, Marty Jannetty, crazy. Leave a How do you not leave a comment after that?
Oh
You know
my
what I
God,
mean?
it's just still wild to me to think that Marty Jannetty's a murderer. I mean, then again, his career got murdered right after he got thrown through a barbershop.
Speaking about role playing, we got to talk about that damn Brandon Moran. He posted that thing about classes. What's your class the other day? And he said, post a dot comment, and I'll tell you your class. And he knows me pretty damn well, and he picked Bard. And most people look at me, big, handsome, think a big, strong, handsome paladin.
You're ignored.
Except he's so evil, he has to be just a fighter. You know? But you know what? Bard. I love to play bards. It's my favorite class to play in D&D, and it's not always been like my last 4 characters were bards though, and I just love singing making up my poems and my songs. I bring my guitar and I crack it down. You know, ready to move on though before I'm going to unleash the show to you with your tag team extravaganza. But how do you feel since it is the tag team? It is tag team week here. How did you feel about the Rockers since? I would say before this Marty Jannetty shit, Marty probably would have been on AEW because they have a relationship with him, and they probably would have honored what were the Midnight Rockers or whatever they were called down in the Deep South.
Deep South Wrestling.
So, let's take a minute. The Rockers, let's think about them.
Now, Marty Jannetty, he was more in like whenever I was just getting into wrestling, I think he was on his way. I think he may win an IC title, but
Greg, you were born in 1997.
So, I mean, I can't say much about Marty Jannetty, but I can say from watching some of the highlights of the Rockers, right? Rockers. So the Midnight Express are completely different. I always get there's 3 tag teams I always get mixed up: the Rockers, Midnight Express, and isn't there another one that's like had long blonde hair, and these guys are fucking all had like the straps on?
Well, I mean, there was Von Erichs. There was
it wasn't the Von Erichs.
There was Wyndham's, which I always say Hangman Page and fucking Jim Ross this week. That's a young Barry Windham. That's what I've been saying for a year
for
now.
Weeks. So some of if I go back and look at some of the old tapes, just going back to old school wrestling, like trying to find like a Razor Ramon like first match or 1, 2, 3 kid match or whatever, you come across the Rockers. Very good tag team. I think they made it a little bit before their time, really, because they were doing a lot of stuff that we're saying now, and you're like, man, this is so great to watch, like especially with like the kicks.
Definitely were standout.
The high flying.
I always liked. They were always overshadowed because I liked the Killer Bees more, and the Killer Bees were doing some high flying shit back then. And I was younger too, but I always liked the Hart Foundation, and they were bad. And I know my cousin Chad always got me into bad guys, but I secretly liked good guys too. I didn't tell him that, but I liked the Hart Foundation because I liked Jim the Amp, and I liked Bret Hart forever. That's what started me on Bret Hart, and I always favored him over Shawn Michaels because I was just more of a Hart Foundation over the Rockers guy and a Killer Bees guy over the Rockers. But, all right, moving on. We mentioned Sunny Kiss a couple weeks ago, Greg, on this podcast, and I think that we owe Mrs. Sunny an apology. We were referring to her as him and using the male pronoun. But after Sunny has been on Chris Jericho's podcast and kind of explained where she is at. And as it stands, she's a gay man who uses the pronoun she.
Okay.
So, so I know we were referring to that. I just don't want to think that anybody that we're not the mother effing PCist podcastist mofos around. You know what I mean? So you got to think we don't have to do that.
We don't have journalist degrees or anything, but that's good to know.
Kiss tag teaming with your boy there. What's his name? Joey Janela. 10 years, 20 years from now, we talking about this tag team since it's tag team week?
I would hope so, but I think in the direction they're going right now, I think they're going to start pushing Sunny Kiss more as a single star, and they still have no plan for Joey Janela, sadly.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've seen Joey Janela on Dynamite or on anything? He was getting smashed by who was it? Lance Archer last time I remember seeing.
Yeah, sad.
So I don't know. They may have him more of like a talent development thing, but I want to see the fucking guy wrestle. He's so fun to watch. Yeah. I don't want to see him take any more L's for the rest of 2020. Let's be honest. Is it going to happen? Of course, it's going to happen.
Agreed, but Greg, there's nobody you don't like. in AEW. Our fans saying you're a mark. That's what they call you, dude.
Do you know what? I can't say there's actually anything I. The only thing I lied. There is one thing I don't like about AEW. Nyla Rose. It's the only thing I don't like about it.
Well, I tell you what, it's tag team week. Let's squeeze this in on Nyla real quick. Surprise tag team opponent in the women's tournament. Ariana shows back up out of nowhere. We haven't seen her.
I take that back. Two things I don't like about AEW.
I liked Ariana over Naomi. I thought she had no talent. I thought she had a better presence, and I think she needed more time to be in the ring. I honestly did. She went away and did that. And I don't think
bad.
Did you watch her?
I did watch her. I watched her very closely because I was like, okay, is this chick gonna fucking just change my mind for what, 2 or 3 match?
I didn't.
I had to. I like to watch. Who was it? They were facing Anna Jay and fucking Taya Conti. Yeah. Also, great tag team. Yeah, they were awesome.
I know that's the match, but that's right where I stopped. I haven't seen that one yet. So, okay, so Ariana doesn't have it yet.
I don't think she does.
She has great personality.
When you're hitting the ropes and you look like you're barely touching them.
Yeah, that's I don't like that.
Like and dude, she literally was. It wasn't so much she was a bad wrestler. She looked like she was just a super lazy wrestler when she was in WWE. That's why I love Naomi. Yeah. Naomi actually put effort into trying to be a good wrestler. When I'm not even going to say her name, I can't stand her. Who would just focus on being like a voice and a cheerleader and an annoying girl. Bye. Like when anytime she did that, I literally just wanted to kick her down a fucking hole in 300. Bianca Belair, I think, is who she was trying to be, and Bianca Belair is 1,000 times better than whatever the fuck her name is. Times I'm like by
I see a smile. I see a showbiz smile and a showbiz face, and I think that if she works with some Allies and some Brandies, because, boy, I think Allie's turned into a beast since she's been here. Allie used to be a girl in TNA who hit the ropes and made me want to cringe. Now, listen, that Allie match versus Mel and whatever.
Another really good match, too.
Boy, does Allie look good. So, you know what? There's hope. But, hey, tag teams.
If any of these women tag team matches turn out to be like these last two have been that I've watched, like those two you're talking about, I'm going to be completely set with watching this whole thing. I'm definitely
going to watch the whole thing. I like tournaments. Yeah. And I loved when NXT was doing the women's tournaments and then the world tournament.
I love random draws too because it makes you want to tune in. Like, all right, who's going to get mixed up with someone who they shouldn't?
Mr. Eric Bischoff returns to TNT television in over 20 years. Gregory, that segment amazing, and no matter what happened last night, Chris Jericho and Eric Bischoff turned Orange Cassidy into a super mega star.
Well, I think that's been in the works for a hot minute because not only did he have one of the best showings against Chris Jericho, what is it now? Like maybe 3 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
And he's still fucking on he's like a rising stock price. Like he was up. And he would like wave a little bit. I don't think there is any stopping the Orange Cassidy train that's going on. The man is fantastic. He's very relatable to a lot of people as well, just for the simple fact that he's just himself. He's just nonchalant. He's like the guy that everyone wants to be, and everyone wants to be friends with.
Well, yeah, with his words last night and the times he chose to speak last night, I think everything was very deliberate and very good to see his side and hear a little bit about his character. So I think that was a great segment. I loved when Jericho was like, I've not liked you for 22 years. And Bischoff was like, it's been 24 and I know. Let Bischoff have a little spotlight. Loved having him involved. You know what? Maybe there could be a spot for him.
I would love to see
on-air role. Yeah, put a hey
Road.
manager. No, I mean whatever you put Bischoff next to is going to get some attention. So why not take that route?
The big story about it was TNT's appearance, or Eric Bischoff's first appearance on TNT in what 20? What'd you say? 24 years?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
Since 2001, well, 19, almost 20 years. And for him to be back there says a lot, but also he just did a 3-way video podcast with him and his boy, what's the dude that does the StarCast, that big heavy set guy. Did they do
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name though.
Conrad,
Yes.
and Tony Khan actually had a 3-way call on their podcast, and it was good. And little beknownst to the world, Eric Bischoff is the person that introduced Tony Khan to the person that gave him the contract for TNT.
Well,
so no one knew that. So and then
I got another fun fact about Tony Khan. He actually was on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
I don't like
yesterday.
Ryder. He can go F himself.
Well, actually, let me take that back. Matt Cardona and Brian Myers on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast.
Because I hate Zack Ryder, dude.
I love Matt Cardona. But let me finish what I'm saying.
Who's Matt Cardona?
So Tony Khan was with Matt Cardona and Brian Myers on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, like I was saying. And I actually learned a lot about Tony Khan from that. Like Tony Khan was maybe 10 or 11 years old. And he was making matches with wrestling figures. He was making matches before it was cool.
No, I'm not impressed by that. What'd you do?
I was very impressed because he did that. He was buying. He was 10 or 11 years old, buying and selling online wrestling figures and trading cards. And it was, I don't know why. I just thought it was so interesting. He felt so relatable. I felt like I am a Tony Khan. I'm just not as famous and rich as he is, but
Jesus
he was so relatable.
I got a list here. Why you're not Tony Khan? Would you like?
No, but he just came to me as relatable. That's what I'm trying to get at. His whole I'm like, man, I love this guy. I want nothing but the best for him.
Listen to people when they talk about their business. Tony gets a twinkle in his eye.
Easily.
Excitement and an actual
he gets so excited. And he literally gets uppity about
that kind of excitement I get drawn to because I only like motherfuckers that like to do things and like to think outside of the box and not go with the plot. That's the type of people I like to be around. And boy, when you hear the man talk about the numbers and this and that, boy, that's a fucking leader right there, man. That's a leader. 100%. Greg, the last piece I have before we get to this tag team business that you have, NBA, has saying they have a contract, and Wednesday nights is their slot on TNT, both East and West, or however that works.
I know there's a lot of people who are not loving this, but it actually didn't bother me too much because it gives me more time to watch it. Because sometimes I miss it, I have to watch it the next day.
I do know that. I don't mind. I mean, I don't know. I guess it all comes down to money. I know you got to honor contracts, but I know that that has a dollar figure on it too. I know that they're very happy. They let it be known that they're very happy. It's not a secret that they're, loving what AEW is doing for them and having wrestling back. So be it. For wrestling Saturday night, I think right now, if you want to go after that 50-plus demo, which seems to be their focus on the BTEs and what they want to get, I think Saturday night is a better time slot because you're 50-plus. I know the 50-plus that I know, y'all in bed by 8:30. 9 o'clock, y'all got to get to bed, because you got to get up at 4.
I can't even say.
Saturday night, I think it's better demographic. It's a nice age. The family can be at home to watch. Mm-hmm. You got your high school kids. Maybe they're home. Maybe they're out partying, but they could watch. If you know what I mean. Listen, if wrestling was on Saturday nights, I would have been in a lot less trouble when I was in high school. You know what I mean?
Well, the only issue they have doing on Saturday nights is you're gonna have to compete now with the UFC, who's gonna be having fights usually on Saturday. College football, but it's 8 o'clock. It's just an hour. You can flip through all those during commercials or watching fucking the best wrestling in the fucking world. You know how long them ESPN commercials can be.
The thing with time slots, and me and you debate this so much about this podcast too, and and I mean, I'm not saying we have enough data to make a decision, and this is just something I feel is I don't really give a shit what day shit comes on. Does anybody else relate to that? Because now me and you kind of have a time crunch because we got to kind of have our shit together by Thursday nights, and it's like if we are going to talk about things, have your shit watched. Like you kind of can't not watch Dynamite and talk. I mean, you can, but we'd fill each other in. But we have that time crunch. But like any other podcast I listen to, I don't sit here and wait till the day they come out and then click the button. I kind of listen on my own time.
Mm-hmm. That's where I prefer to.
I think that's what's the great thing about how cable and on demand and DVRs and all these whatsits and
these streaming apps too.
Hoopla, these streaming apps and whatnot. So you can stream at any time. I heard that some people even work and then just stream all of AEW Dynamite on their phone while they're working. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's a thing. You know what I mean?
I remember working at Little Caesars and wanting to watch the Pirate games when they didn't suck. And we would have it on, and a couple eyes whenever it was slow, we'd just get in the back right by my phone real quick. We'd be watching a Pirate game.
Goddamn Pirates suck because they didn't want my Uncle Dickie as
that's
their
all
pitcher.
Right. Okay? That's all right. I'm a Yankees fan.
They want my Uncle Dickie as their pitcher, and that's why they suck.
I don't have that problem. I'm a Yankees fan.
Well, I mean, you ain't rich enough to be a Yankees fan. You understand me?
I grew up a Yankees fan, so it feels right.
So that's all I have, Greg. So as you mentioned earlier, it's we're going to be a big celebration of tag teams this week.
Tag team extravaganza.
What do you want me to teach you about tag teams and teach our audience about tag?
Look,
this is 7 minutes.
I can't express to you how much I love watching tag team wrestling. So last week we took the week off. So for guys who want to kick in on some of the tag team wrestling was going on last week, we had two tag team matches that I want to point out from last week. We have the 6-man tag team match with the Elite versus the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
My God, some of the spots they were doing in that match just fucking set up everything. Like they were doing 3-person moves. I like this entire 10-second in the ring move. I like that I elaborated that. I believe it was last week's episode as well. He elaborated there's a 10-second rule. Arn Anderson's with the Revival during that. And I'm thinking about that. I was like, that could be interesting because now you're going to allow these people who had a 5-second rule in WWE who have to basically tag in, tag out real quick. Now you got these guys with 10 seconds going to be able to go ahead and show what they have done and what they've worked on so long as a duo, because that's what tag teams do.
As long as we bound the best fantasy, and this is something that goes beyond drama and wrestling, the best fantasy has rules. And if I don't care what the most famous franchise is, Star Wars is getting ridiculed these days, and it's a very polarizing it's not like Marvel. Everybody loves Marvel. But Star Wars is polarizing now because they're fucking with the rules. And rules dictate certain things. So I don't care if we have 20 seconds after the tag. 21 better be a fucking penalty. Okay? Because the problem is the 5 rule doesn't work because only Aubrey challenges 5s. Only Aubrey breaks 5s. Everybody else stands there, and Aubrey will physically break a 5. And I hate that they don't. I like rules. I think the most exciting thing about tag team wrestling is if you show a non-fan and introduce them to wrestling, there's a lot more to explain and a lot for them to see what's going on with the shenanigans of a good face versus heel tag match. A lot more going on.
I being a guy who's a huge fan of double team moves, because I elaborated, I think, on the first episode, my brother and I always inspired to be a tag team when we were growing up.
Yeah.
So watching that is man, this is what I wish we could have done. And they have more time to go out and put that out there so people can see, no, tag team wrestling is not boring. You're just being held back by a rule. So having a 10-second, maybe having 3 guys in the ring for 10 seconds is too much, but I think 2 people for 10 seconds, it's more than enough time to get some cool offense in, and another way for the opposition to figure out, okay, this is what's going to happen. We got to figure out how to go against it. So that whole match was just fantastic. And then you had the who was it? FTR versus well, I can't think on the top of my head.
FTR
I'm
was
talking about last week.
Butcher and Blade last week, or was that the week before?
I think it was the
It
week
might have been the
before.
week before.
Well, all I know is watching
was
FTR.
FTR and wasn't it was it Proud and Powerful?
It was Proud and Powerful because that was one of the teams that Dash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood said that they wanted to wrestle the most.
I'm not sure. Maybe
I think it was because they got the win on it, and that kind of led into some beef later on. But either way, I didn't care. Like obviously, we know Proud and Powerful, and whoever they put against Revival or FTR is going to be a great match. But some of the stuff that watching like the FTR do, man, my God, some of this. I think WWE was really holding them back because they were doing more in that. I'll say 10, 15-minute match last week that I've seen in forever of them. And I was really not a fan of FTR or the Revival and NXT. But
they're in a better environment than up in New York to be a Southern bruising tag team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And
if they're looking for the Anderson, Ole and Anderson, the Brain Busters, and all those guys, they never really took off in WWE because that was Southern thing. Those big Southern boys, and I think they fit in with that TNT.
And they fit in with everything AEW is doing. The pile drivers are great. I do see them going on the top rope a little bit more than I have in WWE, which I'm okay with because I guess they're not doing the no flips just fist thing, which I'm cool with. But they're really impressing me, and I'm getting that.
Please, if that's your gimmick, there's got to be rules. If you don't flip, don't flip.
Basically, where I'm getting at,
though,
where I'm getting at is I was not a fan of them in NXT. I wasn't a fan of them in WWE, but for some reason, AEW, I want to watch more of them. I actually would be cool with Hangman going and being the third with them, doing like a three-way, a three-way belt.
Came in is very refreshing. It didn't. They didn't come in and want to be up. You know what I mean? They took a. I like the whole alliance with the Elite. So I mean, we'll see where that goes.
So that's last week, and then you go into this week. We talked.
A lot happened between last week and this week, and to get off of AEW for a second, I
want to talk about just the tag team. I'm just talking about tag teams as of right now.
I'm going to talk about a great fucking tag team, something that happened before this week.
What was that?
Talking Shopomania, where I watched Gallows and Anderson put the worst pay-per-view of all time for $15 on, and then we immediately sent their managers an email saying that we'll produce the next fucking Talking Shopomania for the price of free. Just give us the rub and the free promos. And if you don't think I'll fly 4 guys down to Gallows' fucking property and have a great time, also follow the real Ric Flair one, Paul L. Woo! One of my favorite Nature Boys of all time. 10 times better than Ric Flair, man. Love him. But good brothers. Definitely have a chance to be the Hall and Nash of this era. Love them. It's tag team week. Let's not forget those boys. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Catch them Dynamite.
And then you have the 10. What was it? A 12-man tag team match last night.
Yeah. I mean, out of control.
Fucking God, was it so much fun to watch.
It was good. It was good.
Oh. Even some of the moves that Dax and I'm gonna go to FTR. I'm probably gonna suck their dick for a little bit here. Those guys impressed me the most out of everyone. Also, I was really a big fan of the one spot they did with the Young Bucks, Kenny and Hangman, where I think it was they did that spot where I think Hangman threw him in the ropes. I think Kenny came in with a V-trigger, and then the Young Bucks, right when he about to hit him with the V-trigger, did that whole turnbuckle kick thing when they kick him in the back of the head.
There was here's the thing, that was probably the first match I've ever seen a 5-person or a 6-person, six-person moves. You know, the most I've seen is 3-person moves. These were 6-person moves that looked great.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of the match was the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Legit, straight up. what Brody Lee needed. I mean, no bullshit, straight up power pin. Slick little reversal, power clothesline from hell, Rainmaker, acid Rainmaker, whatever he calls it, the big boss man or whatever. The lariat puts him down 1, 2, 3. Love it. Really good cover too. Really good cover on the Hangman. Greg. Next week they're going to be honoring some of the great tag teams. Obviously, the Rock and Roll Express were there. They were talking shop at Mania with Gallows and Anderson. They'll be there. What I do like is I like seeing all the honors, and TNA used to do that way back when they got started. Was honor a lot of the Deep South wrestlers and stuff. Guy like, I knew him when he was like a manager or something. But I like that, so I'm looking forward to all the old tag team guys that maybe I didn't even know existed. But I would have said up until last week, I guarantee they would have talked about the Midnight Rockers, and Marty Jannetty would have been there, one half of them.
I was thinking about that.
Now, he may or may not have killed his weed dealer in the 70s. I don't know. So that's bringing it all back. Greg, right now, let's shoot with me. Before we get into some real quick PVGA news and turn these people over, number one tag team of all time, in your opinion?
I mean, the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen to me. And I think of over the years, and I've liked some tag teams, and like I said, the Hart Foundation, Nash and the Outsiders is fucking.
Well, do you want to
have never
seen
anything like the fucking Young Bucks.
There
is nothing like them.
Jason, I can't express to you how many times. Every time I meet them, I tell them every time, "You're the greatest tag team."
Stop creeping them out. Next time I'll be there, and I'm gonna be like, Greg.
Oh, I love them, dude.
Greg,
I seriously. They're always super cool to me. We always have a good dude. I literally have never had like a bad conversation with the Young Bucks. We always bullshit. I'm still trying to get my mutton chops like Matt. It's never gonna happen because I always fuck them up. But I'm gonna keep trying.
Turn your head to the camera. You have
no. I fucked them up, so I don't have them right now.
Well, that's like a baby chop.
But they're I mean, they get in.
Look, you got a chopstick.
They get in, and then once they start getting in, I start like trying to trim everything up, and then I fuck it up on one end. And I'm like, well, gotta shave them off. Same thing happens with my chin beard.
They sell a thing on Amazon that you just put here, and it'll give you that.
Nah, I gotta do it the old-fashioned way. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. I guess I'll never miss.
I don't know if it is that hard. You shouldn't have to try to get the mustache you want. It should be very easy.
I love my mustache.
I mean, you should have just the hair you want on your face.
I feel who's gonna appreciate my mustache? Xander Gabriel.
Who?
Oh, you don't know Xander Gabriel?
Who's that?
He's an IWC guy.
Well, you know what? Good lead off, because I hear there's some PVGA boys invading the IWC show this Saturday. What do you know about that?
It's this Saturday, Base Brawl. I believe it's 8:00 at the Washington Wild Things Park, which I think you're very familiar for. I'm pretty sure you've done a couple promos.
It's 12 p.m.
Oh, it's 12 p.m.? Well, I mean, either way, it's still, you're familiar with that. I think you've done a couple promos out at the Wild Things, outside the Wild Things Park.
Yeah. And next thing you know, 3 VIP passes show up.
Trace.
You know what I mean? I don't understand. But I know this much.
It's like the PVGA is like coming off, it's popping off,
I know this much. Me and Josh are going, and I don't know who Josh picked to be the third man that's going.
I can't say who it is, but all I can say is he's pretty excited.
Yeah. So we'll be there. The champ will be there with a surprise on his shoulder when we walk in, Greg. Ooh. Talking shit. I don't know the card, but I think our boy R.C. Dupree is there, and I would love to cut a little promo with him. I mean, I think he'd dig it. He always liked me. Me and him always got along really well. And he's living the dream, man, right now. And so I'd love to get out there and support him.
And
But
he
I'd
is
love to cut
red
a
hot
promo
too.
with him. I don't know if any of your boys are wrestling or that guy you and Josh like, the Twirly King man. Maybe he'll be there. But the one thing I want to say right now is I want to pre-apologize because when we show up and I got that big, and listen, Greg, you know, like they say in the South, the big gold belts. No. Your boy's gonna have his big platinum belt on his shoulder, and if you're good, I'm gonna let you hold that belt for me when we walk in. If you're good, kid. If you're good,
I'll consider
a lot of things are coming to you Saturday. If you're good, you're gonna live like the king, Greg. But anyway,
I do like to be a king.
no,
I actually do have. If you can check it out, I got my.
You and I told him that we should get another person to take anybody but you, but he decided to take you. I don't know why. You must know the right people.
He knows I know the card, and plus it will help out with the article I'm going to write.
I don't know what you're doing over there. I know this much. In the last 2 weeks, Broken Matt Hardy shows up, says some jibber jabber, nothing to do with me. So I'd like to tell Mr. Broken, and with all due respect, next time the initials PVGA come out of your broken mouth, they better be followed by and the immaculate, the magnificent Mortal Kombat World Champion Jason Swinchock, or Mr. JS Havoc for short. Either or. I mean, Matt Hardy came and went. I'm the only person that bothered about it or reacted to it, so I have no fucking idea anything about Matt Hardy. No one's saying anything. I can't get any information from anybody about it. Will he show back up? I don't know. Is that the official last Broken Matt Hardy video on the planet? Since we all know that he is no longer Broken Matt Hardy. So I don't know what's going on, but if Matt Hardy thinks he can come around here and tell everybody else congratulations and not personally thank me, because without this company, without me, there'd be no PVGA, and that's a FACT. That's a hashtag FACT. And if Mr. Hardy comes around here again, he better be making some peace offerings. 2, War Dog is here. I don't know what that means, but I see a lot of people wanting to know who this War Dog is, how he get in. Josh seems to don't even have comments on whether, he came through the normal process. He's just here.
He's someone I want to see video game footage of. Like, I want to see what this guy can bring to the table, because I'll tell you right now, if he can walk like he can talk, he's gonna be a competitor.
He's gonna be nuts.
I liked your interesting. The PVGA is really getting interesting. I was like, oh yeah, it is. I loved every second of it. I'm excited to cover War Dog.
Let me recap something to you, and you're going to hear a little bit about this in my promo tomorrow night. I have a really fun match planned. I'm tagging with 2 new competitors, 2 jobbers. We're helping 2 local gamers. We're helping out. I'm leading an online Mortal Kombat raid with them against the really hard boss. So it's a triple tag team match against one of the hardest things you can do in Mortal Kombat. So I'm going to hype the match up and I have some few things to say. But, you know what's weird, Greg? We have a hockey player, okay, Austin, with his shirt and, tie and his fucking hockey stick.
He was very official.
And he was very official. And I'm going, damn, the whole era, I felt the whole era of our PVGA changed to Austin brings a very ESPN professional vibe with him. Dude's a big salesman in a big company. So we know this guy personally. Austin brings a lot to the table. I don't like his stinking breath, And I wish he'd keep his kids down when we're playing online because they're too loud in the background. I wish he'd turn that down. But other than that, I love the kid. But I know this much. He steps in a Mortal Kombat ring with me. He's going down in the pit. All right? But so we have a hockey player, a crazy maniac in a mask, and Matt Hardy. If this doesn't say terrible WWE mid-90s booking, I don't know what does, Greg.
Rumor has it Matt Cardona's been interested.
Who the fuck is Matt Cardona? Where have I seen him before?
Well, you know who he is. You don't like him.
I don't know him. The first time I seen Matt Cardona was coming out to help Cody last week. And then this week they tagged.
Mm-hmm.
He's familiar, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like him. Anyway, I'm not talking about fake flippity dippity Mark Cardonas, okay? As far as I'm concerned, my niece takes gymnastics, so she could probably get herself a nice AEW belt and be the queen of flippity dippities as well. All right? They're not a real fucking champion in a real sport like me. I'm an esports champion, Gregory.
That you are, my friend.
So me and you and Josh, God, you know what? It'd be better if he didn't go and just gave us the tickets and maybe they gave us a third person to pick other than him. Boy, he's a beater. Yeah. It's like
first you didn't want to take me, now you don't want to take Josh. Now I'm starting to think, you know what? I don't want to go. You and Josh can go.
Listen, I'd like to just be there and have extra room besides me.
Social distancing.
I have a note that I have a live. I have a pretty good insider tip that there is another person showing up next week. Now, as far as we know, a few weeks ago, the last time we heard from the commissioner, I haven't seen the commissioner. I don't know what the commissioner's doing. We don't know if the commissioner fell off the face of the planet. But the last time he said we do have a championship match from someone that said that they had a justified reason and that they had the backing to prove that they should get a title shot. And he said it is good and it's cleared. We have yet to see that person. I have been away. The PVGA has not been heard of me for 2 weeks, so I'm going to say some things. And I just think I just have a feeling someone next week's coming. And I don't know who it is. And since the War Dog's already here, I don't know.
I can't wait to start covering War Dog. Like, literally after the promo.
What are you waiting on, War Dog to send you an invite? Because I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm just waiting to see some game footage.
Here's the thing. As soon as I saw the War Dog video, I immediately got on my phone and I got my people on this case. You were probably playing GTA, but I was on this case. I made a few phone calls, and I guarantee in 2 to 3 weeks, I reveal the full identity of War Dog live on this podcast.
It's going to be like a hair versus mask kind of thing? Or
I don't know what's going on, but I think I need to know who this man is, and I need to evaluate threat level. Because let's face it, Austin, I can beat you at Mortal Kombat. Listen. Okay. Nice goals. All right. I'm average at hockey. I've played hockey for real. I don't think Chad or Austin can say that. All right? So I'm naturally going to be better. I'm naturally better athlete, naturally just better gamer. So I think that I won't have any problems with this dog of war or Austin or whoever else that comes out of just the bushes. They're crawling out of the bushes these days. Crawling out of the bushes.
I'm also eager to see more. I want Mortal Kombat people. I want to see the champ. I want to see someone shut up the champ.
It's not going to happen. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're actually going to grow in natural pork chops that look nice before that happens. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. 50 fucking people will listen to this podcast before the champ ever fucking loses that belt. You understand?
That's
there ain't a person in this fucking city or the next that could take it out of my cold, dead hands. So don't you worry. So just wear your sunglasses Saturday because the fucking shine coming off that belt, we may get kicked out of this place. It might be in the wrestler's eyes. I'm sorry. The flippity-dippity's in the ring. And if these guys think I'm afraid to get in that ring and tell them I'm a real champion playing a real sport, I'll do it. I have no problem with that. Don't drool too much on your wrestlers there, Greg. You know what I mean?
I'm always going to drool over them.
Don't kiss their butt too much. You know what I mean?
I agree. But I'm excited. Like I said, I'm a huge IWC fan. Have been for a while. I lost touch of it whenever I got really into watching Ring of Honor, and my only goal in life was to go to all the Ring of Honor shows. But as I kind of started when we started the podcast, and I was like, well, you can't just be subjective, and I think you've actually touched on this. You can't be subjective to just one wrestling. You got to watch it all. And IWC is one that I pay a lot of attention to. AEW, of course, and I still pay attention to NXT.
Well,
I try to.
I think if you want to talk about it and be a journalist, I think we have to know a little more than the average person. But I think you got to watch as much as you want to watch. Some people AEW is enough. I like to, I have feelers out in a lot of different places. I like people in the different places. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Who this fucking Matt Cardona is? And you know it. Did you hear that? Anyway.
None?
All right, buddy. Anything else?
I love me
Wrap
some Matt
this up.
That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna touch. I'm gonna specify.
Don't touch Marty Jannetty behind a.
Don't touch Marty Jannetty. Do not try to rate Marty Jannetty, especially when he's trying to buy weed. I can't express. It's gonna be an exciting weekend. It's gonna be cool hanging out with everybody. PVGA. I'm excited to keep on writing. I think I'm gonna have an article up on my Facebook, or I might put it on the Ghost Named Greg Facebook for a certain friend of mine, just so I can kind of get some stuff out there. People can follow me on my Facebook there. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with me. That's why I got the senior broadcast journalist, because no one knows what to expect.
No, it's going to be awesome. People also know how to have a relationship with the PVGA, and as I just tell people, follow my direction. Have a page. Talk about your own shit, do whatever you want on that page, and interact with the PVGA page. JT Swin Gaming uses PVGA for attention, and PVGA uses me for attention. It's a symbiotic relationship. Both parties feed from it. That's my employer, and I get paid certain promotions to talk about them, as you. And we get things, we get cool shit, like VIP access to IWC shows.
And if you guys aren't going to the base brawl this weekend at 12
when that fucking limo pulls up to your Aunt Connie's house to pick you up, you're gonna shit your pants.
You can find me on Twitter at Ghost Named Greg and Instagram The Ghost Named Greg, which I don't post on a lot, but I have a lot of followers on there, so come check me out.
Well,
also keep up with the PVGA and make sure you guys can check all my articles I happen to write or breaking news on there as well.
If you want the latest outdated information on me, you can go to inertiaglobal.com. You won't find anything new there. Probably catch me on my Facebook. Don't add me as a friend, though, because I fucking don't like a lot of people adding me as friends. Let's talk about that, too, on another show. All right? I start a lot of shit up on the PVGA page. That's PVGA, Pro Video Game Alliance. All right? They wanted to call it at one point the Professional Video Game Alliance, and I said, Colonel, Pro Video Game Alliance. And he said, Jason, that's why you're here. That's why you're here. And that's a shoot, buddy. That's a shoot right there. Mm-hmm. So, Greg, you can find me lurking around Facebook. If I'm going to tell you this much, just Google #MKChampion. Make sure that A is a 4. And I guarantee you're going to be surprised where you see that hashtag showing up. Broken Matt Hardy, looking for some respect out of your mouth, mister. Sir, broken. All right. But let's not forget that me and him made a little movie together a few years ago called Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies. He probably doesn't forget it. He probably wants to forget it, but I don't. Oh, we know the director. Yes, we do. So there it is, everybody. God, me and Greg are so broken.